Welcome to Fresh Word Prophetic Hour, the time where we minister by the Spirit, the revelation of the Spirit of God to the body of Christ. The Bible is speaking, it says, he that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit of God is saying unto the church. And again, the Bible is speaking about the children of Isaac. It said they were men of understanding of the times and season, and they knew what Israel ought to do. The revelations of the Spirit of God by the Spirit gives understanding of what people need to do per times and per season. By the grace of God, by divine understanding and prompting, we have come to understand that there are events globally, there are events locally that God has used to speak to the body of Christ. But it's unfortunate that so many people today really do not catch the understanding that is required. The Bible speaking in Proverbs 21 verse 16, it says, the man that wanders away from the path of understanding will remain in the congregation of the dead. The congregation of the dead is not talking about 6 feet under feet, or under the ground. Is talking about a place where people hear but they don't understand what they hear. And if you don't understand what you hear, there's no way you can bring the wisdom, maximize the benefit of hearing. So, by the grace of God, within the context of this hour and this time, we bring revelation, understanding to the people, what God is doing globally and what God is doing locally and individually, as led and revealed by the Spirit of God. There are events globally of late that God has been using to speak to the body of Christ. One of such events is the COVID-19 experience, the COVID-19 globally. And God permitted this event, this crisis to happen globally, and it has brought a revelation of the status of the church. Before this event, people had understanding, both within the church and outside the church, that we have a healthy church, maybe probably because of the wealth within the church. But God, by the revelation of events unfolding by the COVID-19 crisis, it became so obvious that the church is not as healthy spiritually as God expected it to be. How the church is supposed to respond, to stand and manage this crisis, address this crisis, and exalt the name of the Lord. At this time and this season, globally, the church fell short. And up till now, if you notice, the church has not actually recovered from the impact it has made with this event. A numerical increase in the decrease in the church, attendance in the church, fellowship in the church has gone on the decrease. There is a wide margin between those who are attending church before and those who are attending church after. Why? Because during this time, it became obvious to everybody that the church did not arise with strength and understanding adequately to match on with this crisis. And so many people came out of this crisis wounded, many came out depressed, many came out confused. And the Bible says God is not the author of confusion. And once again, when we come home locally, the 8 years or period, the government of the last administration of President Buhari was actually another revelation for the church in Nigeria, because it has been such a difficult, challenging time to every work of the ministry and to the people's faith, to the point where a lot of people's faith crashed because whatever they believed as at that time couldn't stand the test of time. That you believe something for so long doesn't make it the truth. So a lot of things that people believe for so long were put to test, and it couldn't stand the test of time. Again, another thing locally that actually brought about another revelation understanding to the church in Nigeria was the last election. The last election had a lot of prophetic insight, prophetic goings, prophetic utterances that were given and released in the air and to the people. But sadly, unfortunately, majority of those prophecies never came to pass. And so a lot of people came out of this event, their faith wounded, their faith crushed, their heart shaking, and their mind confused. And so, by the grace of God, God is doing something new. God is beginning to do something new. There was a move of God that was called the Orthodox, that brought about a particular group of people, a particular race, a particular breed of people who are raised within the faith by this movement. Out of this movement came the Pentecostal movement. By the grace of God, which came with knowledge, with a lot of giftings, with a lot of power, with a lot of demonstration of the Spirit of God. And there was a lot of embrace, a lot of quickening by the Spirit of God by this movement. But sadly enough, this movement has come under attack in terms of integrity, in terms of three major things that the Lord put to test concerning this Pentecostal move. The men at the forefront of the affairs of this move, the message concerning this move, and the method. Three levels and layers of these realities were put to test by this event in the last few years. And so the men have been tested, the message have been tested, the method have been tested. And out of these three things, there is a new phase that is opening. There is a move of God that is emerging. The spiritual church that will usher in the second coming of Christ. God is already preparing it. And God is raising fresh breed of men. New men that are coming on the horizon. Men that have not been seen, neither are they known. But God has prepared them in hiding. Empowered them in hiding. They've been in obscurity, but they've been empowered. They've not been known, but God has known them. Heaven has registered impact in their life. And He can raise them for this generation, for the move of God. So these men are going to be emerging in the next few days and few years ahead of us. And they're going to spark up a fresh move of God that will penetrate the heart of people and resurrect their faith afresh. There's going to be fresh messages. Christ has to be preached afresh. A new message of the revelation and resurrection of the Spirit of Christ will be brought about to the body of Christ. And so, also the method with which the ministry work has been done in years past. There is a new method that is coming, all-encompassing, showing the love and compassion, empathy and sympathy with the lost, with the helpless, with the hopeless, and with the less privileged. God is bringing about all of this in the new move that is coming. So let nobody be confused, let nobody be discouraged. God is doing a new thing, and a new thing will emerge in the years and the days ahead of us. There are exciting time in the body of Christ. God is going to be doing new things and raising up new men. God is going to be promoting fresh message that has the core center of it, Christ and Him crucified. That will be the core message. The love of Christ will be exposed, practically demonstrated within the church and the body of Christ. And of course, the method with which the gospel is preached, the method with which to do ministry in these last days will be scriptural, will bring glory and honor to God and impact in the society and the world at large. So get ready for something new, because God is doing something new in the world. God bless you.